Many times we don't understand the law. Law for the People with Eric Cedillo is here to inform, educate, and answer your legal questions. Thank you for tuning in today. From the law offices of Eric Cedillo, located at 1725 Greenville Avenue in Dallas, Texas. Here's your host, Eric Cedillo.
Thank you so much for joining us as I look up out the window and I see Cowboy Stadium across the way. And how about them Cowboys at 4-1? Go Dak.
Yeah.
See, hopefully Tony has a chance to regain his position, but I'm enjoying what's going on with in terms of the win. Okay, we are here again with a very special guest, Victoria Neave, who is running for 107 district here in the state legislature in Texas. Victoria, we were talking a little bit earlier about, I was alluding to how I've just kind of seen you everywhere in terms of the block walking, in terms of the bringing people together and talking. I've seen a lot of young people that have been volunteering for your campaign and other things. I think a lot of it is kind of coming from what they're hearing, at the top and some of the negativity that they want to respond to. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about that movement and how people are kind of, joining not only with you, but just really, kind of stating their own case in terms of being heard and things of that nature.
And I'm very excited about all the energy that young people bring to our campaign. We have lots of high school students and college students involved, and we've had families bring their elementary school students to help knock on doors for our campaign to help get out the word. And so I feel very blessed that we've got all these students engaged in the political process, because sometimes we hear, students don't care about politics. I don't think that's the case at all. I think they do care, and they're involved in significant numbers in our campaign. I got involved. I first started knocking on doors when I was in high school, and one of the campaigns that I knocked on doors for was Regina Montoya Coggins, who's, as you know, is a Harvard-educated attorney who was general counsel for Children's Medical or Children's Hospital a while back, and a leader in our community. She was running for Congress at the time, and so I remember hearing about her, and that just really motivated me. So I got some of my friends from high school, and we went to go hand out literature for her, and this was, back then. And so for me, when it's very important to me that we get young folks involved in the campaign so they're exposed to sort of what a campaign is like, because I want them to run for office one day and to see that you can do it. You don't have to come from a wealthy family, that you can stand up and serve to represent your community. We started a campaign fellowship this summer, and our youngest fellow, it was for high school and college students, and our youngest fellow was actually an 8th grader, and which was very exciting to me that an 8th grader wanted to come spend his summer with us. And one of the stories I will share with you that's really stuck out to me is that on his birthday during the summer, it was really hot, as you remember, his parents told him, hey, okay, we're going to take you to Six Flags for your birthday.
Okay.
No, sorry, Hurricane Harbor. It's really hot, which is, we're right across, aren't we?
Yeah, that's right. We're close, yeah.
And he told his parents, no, I don't want to go. I want to go volunteer at Victoria's campaign today. Wow. So to me, that was very special to me, that an 8th grader, 13-year-old boy could have been at Hurricane Harbor on his birthday, and instead he chose to help us at our campaign. And so we took him to get ice cream and things like that, but he helped us. And I think that's sort of a testament to how our campaign has opened our arms, and we want as many young people to get engaged so they can see what it's like and think that they can do it too.
Yeah, so. I tell you what, my son, every time Donald Trump comes on, he sits there and listens, and I've got to, hey, you got to watch your language, son. You got to watch what it is you're saying. But in all honesty, with respect to some of the things that we're hearing collectively as a community, as a national community, I think there have been the things that we're hearing from somebody who would run for president have been scary, have been emotionally evocative, and really some things where, if we aren't talking to our children, can be detrimental to kind of the way in which they see the whole process. We've been able to go into the schools, just to do registration, nonpartisan way, kind of going in there and getting the students registered to vote, the ones who are turning 18, things. And I have seen some incredible, when I was in high school, it was not like that. But you've seen some people who were just some kids who were engaged, that knew, what was going on and what the the platforms were, things of that nature. So I'm very impressed, and I can breathe a sigh of relief as I see where we're headed in terms of the next generation of people. But in all honesty, in terms of what he has said, in terms of the kind of the movement, the anti-Trump movement that we've been kind of looking at, have you heard a lot of that as you've been kind of on the campaign trail? Have you heard some things from folks?
Absolutely, and not just from young people. And if there are any young people out there who would like to get involved in our campaign, please visit us at victoriafortexas.com. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and then a lot of the young millennials on our campaign told me about Snapchat, and they taught me how to use it. So we're on Snapchat at Victoria for Texas with the 4. And so, but yes, Trump is.
I'm sorry, Victoria 4 as in a 4.
Yeah,
so
our website is spelled Victoria for Texas, all spelled out, and then on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram, we're Victoria for Texas with the 4.
With the 4, with the number 4. Okay.
Yes, and Trump has really excited or angered lots of folks in our community. We hear it every day when we're knocking on doors, when we're talking to voters, and I think that's another reason that we've been able to get so many, and as a Democratic candidate, been able to get lots of independent and Republican voters on our side as well, because Trump has made, as we know, some extremely vile comments about women, anti-immigrant comments. I'm the daughter of an immigrant. He's attacking my dad. He's attacking my family. Families, millions of families in our community. He's made attacks, as we know, against our Muslim community, of people of different faiths, different religions. He's attacked POWs. He's attacked almost anybody and everybody, and the fact that he has come this far is scary, and that's why we worked really hard to register lots of voters. People are going to be coming out, from what I'm hearing at the doors, for the very first time, many of them to vote. People who haven't voted in a really long time, they're going to be getting out to vote, and so we're going to have lots of new voters coming out, is what we anticipate. And this is the year. If there is ever a year for somebody to come out to vote, do not stay home. We are asking you that, please, this is the year. We cannot stay home, because they want us to stay home. They want our community to not get out to vote, and every single vote absolutely does matter, not just in our race, but in the presidential race as well. We cannot let somebody like Trump, who is unfit and unqualified to serve as our commander-in-chief of president. And when we have also elected officials like our opponent, Ken Sheets, who has refused to denounce Donald Trump and who continues has been completely silent. We've called on him numerous times to denounce him and renounce his support for Trump, and he hasn't done it. And that, to me, is a testament to his character, to his judgment, and when we need to be fighting for our community and representing everybody, and especially women. In not just, we have to think about our little girls who are watching what Trump's saying, watching folks condone his remarks about women, and I just continue to be appalled and amazed at how things that he says just continue to get worse.
I was watching after the debate, the last debate. I was watching the news, and of course they went to a cutoff of a group that was getting together, and it was women in support of Trump. And I'm thinking, how in the world can a woman support, after what he said, after his beliefs and the things that he's not just, he's saying it, and it's who he is. It's his character. It's not going to change. It's something that is kind of set. He's told you who he is. And I just really can't see that. And it's kind of, heart-crushing for someone to be in support of someone who's just totally against everything that they are, quite honestly. And I've been hearing it from him, and there's no, of course, no love lost, and no, okay, that surprised me. He just really, literally, 50% of the human beings out there who could vote against him, he just blatantly said who he's all about and what he's all about. Right. So for anybody who could support him, I just don't get it.
Absolutely.
We talked about unfriending, and literally, quite literally, I've had to really do that with people who are just coming out with stuff that is just makes absolutely no sense. And the support for Trump is just if you can support someone like that, then there's really no reason for us to kind of be friends. It just doesn't make sense to me. But with that said, that's who he is, and I guess on the good side, if there's any any way to look at it in terms of a ray of sunshine, is that he has caused people to kind of come out who may not have been a part of the process before. Like you mentioned, this may be their first opportunity to kind of come out, register, and then actually vote. I know a number of people. Voter registration has just seen a tremendous uptick in terms of people going out there. So I would imagine that's going to benefit you to a certain extent. But who are you kind of looking at? Who's your audience in terms of the folks who maybe you haven't really reached out to, or in a general sense may not always go for the Democrat? You'd mentioned some of the Republicans, some independents.
Yes.
What are the independents kind of looking at?
Yes. So we're running a very issues-based campaign, talking about the issues, and not so much about partisanship, because that's what it comes down to. It's the issues like insurance, and we have in Texas the second highest insurance rates in the country, double the national average. And, as I mentioned, our opponent, who's an insurance defense attorney, whose clients are big insurance, is on the insurance committee trying to pass laws that benefit big insurance to the detriment of homeowners and consumers. That's not the type of person that we need in office. And so our voices as working families need to be brought forward. And so I'm looking at everybody in our district who is registered. We are working hard to touch as many of those folks, to knock on as many doors and talk to as many voters about the issues, about education, about fighting for more jobs, about investing in our schools, about making college more affordable, about these types of issues that affect our pocketbooks on a daily basis. And so that's why I'm very proud. We're going to continue to work hard to just earn the votes of everybody, regardless of party in our district. And I hope that y'all will join us and look more and join our campaign at victoriafortexas.com.
Victoria, what does it kind of look like? You win, or the election is November 8th. You win, which I really feel good about. Your chances of winning. Based on kind of what you told me, kind of what kind of how everything's kind of playing itself out. You go down to the Texas legislature at the beginning of the year. Tell me what that kind of looks like for you. Have you kind of had an opportunity? I know it's hard. We got to get to the election. We got to figure. But what does that look like for you in terms of what do you do? How do you hit the ground running?
Yes, and so if I'm so fortunate enough to earn the votes of the voters in our community to get elected, what I'd like to do is immediately start sitting down with lots of stakeholders in our community to start drafting legislation. I've got already lots of ideas for different laws that I want to write and to impact that can help our community. There are subject matter experts in different fields, from education to women's issues to our CPS system is another system that's broken, and we have children who are dying, and there's so many issues that we've got to address. And so I want to sit down and just hit the ground running, just like we did in this campaign. I'm a very hard worker. I will continue to work hard. And so in these 2 months before, I would get sworn in January, when the legislature starts, I'd work hard to sit down. And as I mentioned, I want to reach across party lines. Even if somebody didn't vote for our campaign, I want to sit down, because to me, it's about issues, not necessarily the party.
What does that look like? You've and I can't stress this enough, the amount of time that I've just kind of seen from the background, the commitment that you've made in the campaign itself. What does that look like for a legislator? Do they get paid? What is the time commitment? Do you have to move to Austin? Do you continue your practice? What does that look like practically?
So I think they get paid very little. I don't know exactly how much it is. I don't know if it's a few hundred. I really don't know. I didn't look at it because I'm not doing it for that, because it's nominal, I believe. But I'm doing it to serve. And so the legislature meets on odd numbered years, and so we start in January, and we file our bills, and then we advocate for our bills in committee to try to get them out of committee, and then and work with folks to try to get earn the votes of other state legislators to vote for our bill so that it passes, and hopefully the.
So does that look? Is that you moving to Austin? Is that you kind of going back and forth? What do you?
It's
kind of
going
thinking?
back and forth, and so I have a small firm here, practice civil litigation and employment law, and I have a great team and staff, and so they help carry the cases. I'm still going to work, but I'm, most of my focus is going to be, while we're in session, is on passing bills, and so I'm all in. I'm 100% committed to serving and fighting, and so that's giving of myself as much as I can to be able to, because I see a huge need for change in our district. So.
And I just wanted to point that out because I think all too often people think people run for office so that they can make money or do some other thing. In all honesty, lots of times, most of the people running for office have their heart in the right place, I would think. I just want to reiterate that I really believe that your heart is certainly in the right place.
Thank you.
You're doing it for all the right reasons. And we hope that you have a tremendous amount of success. We know that you're going to win this
We're working
election.
hard. It's going to be very close,
Yeah.
and so every single vote matters, and we know it's going to be close, just the way the lines are drawn out. It's a very gerrymandered district, and so we're working hard just to earn the votes of as many voters in our community.
Let's talk about that just real quickly before we break. November 8th is the election.
And early voting starts October 24th to November 4th.
Talk about October 24th. Usually on November 8th, you got to go to your own polling place.
Yes.
But on October 24th, you can do what?
Yeah, so we encourage you to go vote during early voting, because during early voting, you can go to any of the polling locations, early voting sites. It doesn't matter if it's, you can go to whichever one you want in Dallas County. And so usually the lines are shorter, and so I would go during early voting. Don't wait till election day. And we'll be posting on our website, victoriafortexas.com, and all our social media where the polling locations are. The community colleges are going to have them now for 2 days during early voting. We'll be sure to post that as well. But on election day, you have to go to your specific polling location for your precinct, and we'll help you figure it out. If you just call us, you live in Mesquite, Garland, East Dallas, you live in our district, we will help you.
Yeah.
But it's easier. We encourage as many folks to go to early voting as possible.
Yeah, because November 8th is going to be crazy. It's a huge election. I think a lot of people, the lines are going to be very long. So again, encourage people to go early vote.
Can I mention vote by mail?
Absolutely.
Another big thing is, and I hope that if you have any college students that are away at college right now, but they reside with you or they reside in the district, they can send off a vote by mail application. They need to sign it, and where the actual ballot will be mailed to their college residents. Also, if you have a senior who is 65 or older, a lot of folks don't know that they can send that vote by mail application. Just go to DallasCountyVotes.com or .org, DallasCountyVotes.org, download the application or contact them or the Texas Secretary of State website, mail that application in, and the senior can get the ballot at their home, so they don't have to go to the polls. And so I'd get that in right away. And if you need a ride to the polls, please also reach out to us. We're going to be giving rides, whatever it is, to make sure that it's as easy as possible for folks to vote.
And just once again, DallasCountyVotes.org, go to the website. You can actually determine whether or not you're in Victoria's district by putting in your name and birth date, and you can see if she's on
You're
the ballot.
In House District 107.
And spell your name for us, and tell everybody who to be looking for and all that great stuff.
Yeah. So my name is Victoria Neave. I'm an attorney candidate for state representative. My last name is spelled Neave, V as in Victor, and our website is victoriafortexas.com, FOR spelled out. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. And I think that's,
that covers them all. Victoria, thank you so much for coming out today. We really appreciate it, and we're just wishing you the best of luck. And remember, guys, you got to get out there and vote. October 24th is early voting. It starts at that point. I believe it ends November 4th in terms of early voting, and then the actual election day is November 8th. Get out there, find out whether or not Victoria is in your district. Even if she's not, let's provide her with some support. So Victoria, once again, they want to donate to your campaign. Where should they go?
victoriafortexas.com. Even if it's $1, $5, we would be honored to have any donations so that we can be as competitive against the big insurance and the payday lender dollars that are going to our opponent's campaign.
That's right. Thank you so much, Victoria, and best of luck. Thank you guys for joining in. We've had two wonderful guests today. Get out there. Remember, voting is critically important, and it certainly is a part of your voice. And thank you for joining us here on Law for the People, where we come to you every Friday from 1 to 3. Join us next week when we'll have some additional guests. And once again, thank you to our guests who are here today. You guys have a wonderful weekend.